Alright, this is part 2 of short stories. It turns out in the last video that I did, the book that I was reading, it was part 1 of part 1, and there was nothing else. That was it. I'm kind of pissed off about that, honestly, because it was shitty. I didn't understand any of it. It was poorly written. The punctuation, the grammar, the spelling, everything was just completely fucked in it. So I found another one, and this is actual like horror short stories, and we're gonna be taking a look at that. So this one is called Mommy's House. By the way, it's fucking 3 in the morning right now. You know, no better time to read this creepy ass shit than 3 in the morning at which hour. So, I heard one. A father is laying in bed after waking up. He grabs a baby monitor and walks to his desk in his office at home. He has his baby on the baby monitor and hears his wife singing to her. He cracks a smile as he hears his wife, "Go to sleep, go to sleep," when suddenly the front door opens up and his wife comes in with groceries. Holy fuck, that's creepy. That is so fucking creepy. Alright, here's another one. Pretending don't work. A young boy is sleeping in his bed on a usual night. He hears footsteps outside his door and peeks out of his eyes to see what is happening. His door swings open quickly to reveal a murderer carrying the corpse of his parents. Holy shit, that's fucking dark fast as fuck. After silently propping them up in a chair, he writes something on the wall in blood of the dead bodies. He then hides under the child's bed. The child is scared beyond belief. Yeah, no fucking wonder why. I wonder why I'm scared just reading this shit at 3 in the morning. He can't read the writing on the wall and he knows the man is under the bed. Like any child, he pretends that he slept through the whole thing and hasn't woken up yet. He lays still as the bodies quickly hearing the breath from under his bed. An hour passes and his eyes are adjusted more and more to the darkness. He tries to make out the words, but it struggles. He gasps when he finally makes out the sentence, "I know you're awake." He feels something shift underneath his bed. Holy fuck, that is creepy as hell. Like, very fucking creepy. Making sure there's nothing behind me. Alright, this is the thing in the basement. Fucking basements, man. Mommy told me never to go in the basement, but I wanted to see what was making that noise. It kind of sounded like a puppy. Yeah, I'm sure it fucking did. And I wanted to see the puppy. So I opened the basement door and tiptoed down a bit. I didn't see a puppy, and then Mommy yanked me out of the basement and yelled at me. Mommy had never yelled at me before, and it made me sad and I cried. Then Mommy told me never to go in the basement again and she gave me a cookie. That made me feel better, so I didn't ask why the boy in the basement was making noises like a puppy or why he had no hands or feet. What the fuck? I don't know who wrote this shit, but holy fuck. Alright, things happen. I don't know how much more I'm gonna do of this because this shit is creepy and it's late as fuck. But when I was 6, 28 years ago, my mom and dad took me and my younger sister to an MLB game, so baseball, leaving my grandmother to babysit my younger sister. When we got back, my grandmother told my folks that 2 guys had come by the house with photography equipment and asked whether a young girl with red curly hair lived there, and that they had spotted her, that she would be great for a child model for some advertising work that they were doing. When my grandmother said she wasn't home, They said they would come back another time. My grandmother and my mom didn't make much of it, but my dad said something's not right here and called the police. About 15 minutes later, several FBI agents showed up. I don't think you call the police and the FBI immediately comes, but all right. And began conducting interviews with my grandmother and my parents while I ran around and showed the agents my Matchbox police car helicopter. Turns out we had been targeted by a child theft ring. The photographers would take a bunch of photos and waited until the toddler threw a tantrum, and the photographers would then ask the mother to go grab a toy to keep the child entertained. While the mother was out of the room, they would grab the child and bolt, leaving everything else behind. The FBI told my folks that my sister had already been sold. What? My sister had already been sold and would have been out of the country within 24 hours if they had got her. We were advised to change preschools and other aspects of our daily routine. It still gives me chills to think about that could happen to her. Needless to say, Mom became pretty overprotective. It was a few years before she even trusted us with a babysitter. I don't know. That one's weird. Oh, Craigslist. This is called Craigslist ads. A guy made a Craigslist posting saying he was a talented scout and ran an agency. He got the interest of a father, a grandmother, and his granddaughter. This guy's specialty was casting families, preferably children. Yeah, I'm fucking creepy old ass man. Under the assumption he was looking to produce a film and needed actors. Not too long ago, my grandmother and grandfather went to meet this guy at the house. They actually drove 2 hours early to check out the house before going to it. There was a for sale sign outside the house and it appeared vacant. My family drove by later and agreed time of meeting in the morning, and we were greeted by a man in a suit. He tried to convince a little girl to come inside many times. My grandfather got a bad feeling and left. Turns out in the unrelated sting, the police caught this guy for child porn charges. He had 10 counts of child porn and his home was raided. The father/grandmother around the same time reported the incident to the police. When the police found this guy, he had a bag with him. In it was a knife, zip ties, sex toys, and he even had a plastic sheeting. He was going to pretty much kill the grandfather, then rape and murder the child. Holy fuck. His plan was to get all this on film. The camera was set up and ready to go. Luckily, the father and grandfather had a gut feeling something was off and reported the incident. This guy happened to be a kid I pretty much grew up with, knowing for about 15 years. He was even my brother's roommate for a while. He was always very creepy and I never could pinpoint why exactly. I felt my stomach drop reading the news. This guy has been inside my house. Went to parties I had, my birthday party. I have had multiple conversations with him. Luckily, he won't be getting out of jail anytime soon. Alright, well, that is some of the creepiest shit that I've ever fucking read, just as short stories. This shit has just not given me great vibes. So I think we're gonna wrap this up. This is definitely a lot better than the other video that I made, because this one actually makes fucking sense. The other one I made, it was just, again, it was a part one, and I could barely read it. I made myself look like a fucking idiot because I sounded like I couldn't read, when in reality that shit made no fucking sense at all. So this makes a lot more sense, and I think we're gonna be finishing it. There's about like 20 of these short stories, so for the next 10 days while I'm in quarantine, I'm gonna be making these. I'm not probably not gonna do them at 3 in the morning, but I am gonna be finishing this as a series, and then I'll move on to something else until I can do videos with other people. Like I said before, I said that in the last video. So as far as this goes, that's the end of this creepy ass fucking video.